The work was born during a residency in India, and it was born as a combination between my experience there and an experience I had a few days before in Berlin, where I was looking at the TV at CNN, and I was looking at an event about Cuba, which I'd been 2 days before that in Cuba, and they were totally saying no sense. I mean, they were totally inventing the news. They had nothing to do with what really happened, which I experienced myself in Cuba. And then after that, I went to India for this residency, 1 month, and I started thinking a lot about this idea of how in contemporary society the news have substituted the product that is used to do post-colonial strategies. And it was just that. I was just one day looking at the tea bags that people were drinking, and they leave it there in one plate, and I really liked it, and that's it. I thought the tea bag could be a good symbol or a good element to talk about that process that is still happening. Well, I think the relation between poetry, art, and politics, the way I work with it is try to put the poetic in the impossible, this idea of something that is impossible. But the art is, for me, the way to make it happen. So it is not really impossible. Impossible is only a moment of the idea. And the politics, for me, is the way in which the work is implemented. The ideas are implemented. So that's very quickly a way to relate the three of them. Well, I think, as you say, there are elements that contradict itself or that put you in different situations. And this is something that is most of my work. I mean, I don't have a one line. The road to my work is always in contradiction to itself. And also there is another element, which is the relation with the technology and the handmade. Because the work is completely made by hand, but then you can find this very little, and at the time, now it's normal, but at the time they were very sophisticated, small LCD screens. So I think it is a way for me to put things in extreme, like different extremes, and see where can you position yourself. And also I wanted to have the sense of overwhelming. That's why the piece is so tall and is so long, because I wanted you to say, okay, I have to do this walk now, but it's endless in a way. I think contemporary art main issue right now is precisely what is art for. I mean, it has always been the case, but I think the answer has always been directed to more kind of contemplative responses. And I think even when the art was activist, a lot of the outcome of it was to be transformed into a decorative image when it lost their, the sense for being activist. But I think for the time we are right now, usefulness is, I think, is the center of the discussion about what contemporary art can be. Why? Because I think there have been so long, it's too long since we have defined art as this kind of activity, and I think it's time to understand the ways art relate to other areas of society, and not to be only the place where you can choose to say something about a place, but also to propose one possible solution. Even if it's not the solution, but at least to propose some sort of like elements that led people into thinking that they can have a solution for things. So, and therefore I think the role of the audience is definitive. We are not anymore in times of the hardcore authorship, but to the opposite is the negotiation of authorship. So I think these are the main issues, at least for me, in my work. And I'm trying to solve it, I'm trying to not name things, but try to find solutions for things.